Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide, her podcast featuring the one and only legend, Jackie Manuel.
Appreciate it.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just enjoying life, enjoying serving people and trying to help people get better.
I know that's right. It's like the servant leader status.
You already know.
Yes, sir. Let's get to it. So, Coach Jackie, can you let us know how you got to where you are, like your sports journey?
Yeah, so I from West Palm Beach, Florida, and went to University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, 2001 to 2005. Played 5 years professionally, and after that, probably 3 years into my professional career, I knew I wanted to get into coaching. That finally happened 2 years later, after my fifth year, and joined the staff at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, 2011-12. And then I went from there to UNCG from 12 to 16. Then I started bouncing around a little bit. Valparaiso University from 16 to 17, then down in Wilmington from 17 to 20. And then I went back to North Carolina on the women's side, 20 and 21 season. And then on the men's side for 21 to 23 season. And now I'm at American University on the men's side, Washington, D.C. This was our first year that we just finished up.
Man, like when I tell you, like just the so how would you say, like, what was the transition like from being like, say, player to coaching? What was that like?
Uh, it was a little, you know, worrisome, I would say, to go into an unknown situation. By that time, I was playing basketball for over 20 plus years. That was my comfort zone, a big part of my identity. And now you're stepping into a new place, married with a child, and trying to figure things out. So it was a little scary at first, but I knew at that point, I knew that I wanted to help young people, young guys coming out of college or in college or going from high school to college. I just wanted to serve them, important to them, the things that I learned and the mistakes that I made, and try to help guys get better. So.
Yeah, because I remember when you were at UNCW, like, man, like just the learning to just, even I was on the women's side, I was still like just learn from you because like, I remember the first time I was like, you look like familiar. So I was like, damn, you Jackie Manuel? Like, yeah. I was like, okay, I remember you was the 2005. Y'all was playing against Illinois in the
Yeah.
championship.
Yeah.
And I was like, y'all was like 75 to 70. You're like, let me check this. I was like, oh,
Right.
you.
I was like, oh yeah, you on top of it. I remember that. You were on it.
Because I remember there the one cover of Sports Illustrated, you had the high jump, and it was the picture was you and some like McCants, Sean
Yeah.
May, and
Yeah.
you were right beside Jawad Williams. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo.
Yeah.
So my question is, what was that like to win the NCAA championship? Like, what was that like, and like the whole like journey, like the that season?
It was a surreal moment. It really was, because the beginning of that journey, that freshman and sophomore year, was very difficult. Just we lost a lot more than what I did previously, and year two was better, but it was still you were still kind of reeling from year one because it was that bad. And so, initial thoughts, obviously, when people get uncomfortable, what do they try to do? They try to figure things out and move to a new situation. And that was definitely a thought in my mind, definitely something that I discussed with my family. But my heart was in Chapel Hill, and it really was. And I knew I wanted to be there. That's why I came there. I didn't want to be anywhere else. Um, and so, stayed there. And you know, when you're talking about faith and trusting in process, like we trusted that process, not knowing what the outcome was going to be, right? Really just really relying on being in the place because we wanted to be there. I wanted to be there, and whatever happens, happens. And to end my career um, with a national championship, and to do it with people that I came in with, and we went through the same struggle, was priceless. It really was. Um, and it's a moment that we will remember for the rest of our lives because it was difficult. It really was difficult. Um, and so, but it taught me a lot of lessons. When things do get hard, um, to stay in the fight. To stay persistent, to stay positive, and really to trust God. With everything. So, looking back at it, it's exciting for a lot of people to talk about. In that moment, it was hard, but I appreciate every experience that I had. Those 4 years really made me who I am today.
Man, because that was like that was a whole run, like just because although I remember, because I one time I brought in the cup, I was like a Hardy's cup, and I was like, do you know this cup?
Yes, yes, I remember that too. I remember that. Oh man, that felt like yesterday. Oh my goodness.
Man, I'm telling you, I was like, when I tell you, I'm telling folks like, when I tell you like, you were one of the best coaches. Like, even though I didn't get a chance, I mean, even though I wasn't like technically on the men's team, but to be able to like just learn from you and like you allow me to like say practice with y'all, like help. Just I was like, yo, I feel so honored. I was like, man, I'm just doing what the Lord is doing the Lord's work, but I just felt very honored. I was like, yo, man. And I
I
just want to
appreciate
give you your flowers, just shout out to you for all the wisdoms that you like have provided and given me that just continue to apply in life for real. So
No, I appreciate that, and I'm thankful for for you and everybody that I connected with at Wilmington, and it made me better. Like I'm a better coach today because of those connections, those experiences, those things that um, you know people have poured into me. The things you shared, said to me in our basketball talks that we used to have. You know what I mean? Like that helped me because that's information that I was able to process and have more of a limitless thought process than I had before. So.
yeah, because I try to tell them, be like, man, these folks need to listen to you. You won a championship. If they trying to get a championship, they need to listen to you.
Now everybody's on their own journey. You have to learn. Sometimes it's you can learn by having those conversations. Sometimes you have to learn by your own experiences and your own actions. But for me, the biggest thing that I want to do every time I interact with a young man, whether he's playing for our program or not, is leave them with some sort of wisdom that they can either use in that moment or they can use later on. And so I think that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir. And my question is, what would you say when you did the when you were part of the women's program with
Yeah.
UNC, like the director of your recruiting? What
Yeah.
was that? What was like the transition like? And what would you say is the difference in between like you coaching with the women's as well as versus like coaching with the men's?
Absolutely. It was when I went to the women's side, I honestly was very open to like going to the women's side, meaning like I had no intentions on coming back to the men's side. Like because I said to myself, I was like, I've done it already, right? So when I went to the women's side, I was like, I've never done this. I've never had this experience. Obviously, you know, talking to other coaches, on the women's staff and everything, and seeing the women practice, every place I've been, had some sort of idea. But I was really open to being on the women's side for the rest of my career. Um, I was at a place in my life, with the pandemic, and we got let go at Wilmington. I was at a place in my life where, like, I was just humble and thankful to have this opportunity. So it was just like, this is awesome. I get to use my testimony, my story, still around basketball, but different avenue, so to say. So um, being there, and it was just for a year, but it was the best year in my coaching, like, journey, like, the absolutely best year, because Coach Banghart she was awesome. She was amazing. Like, she and the staff, uh, and her staff were awesome. Welcomed me with open arms, um, and made the transition really easy for me. Um, and she gave me opportunity to develop and grow. Like, she gave me so many different responsibilities, um, that, like, it was forcing me to get better and learn and grow. But I think the biggest growth that I made was in my level of communication, uh, in communicating with each young lady, or each group of ladies. You just couldn't be a lazy communicator. And I felt like before that moment, it was pretty lazy. Like, I could say one thing, and that's to the whole group. I could say it a certain way, and that went for everybody. But on that team, you had a group of young players, you had some players in the middle, you had a group of old players, and trying to get them to mesh. Um, you had to have this kind of fluid, communication, where you couldn't choose sides. You had to get your point across, but you had to be able to listen to everybody and hear them out, and try to help them. And so, after going through that year, and I was like, you know what, like, whatever I was doing before, I'm not gonna do anymore. I'm gonna use what I've learned here, and I'm gonna be better. And then the other piece is, the women's game, and the players get a knock, and it's really ignorance for, not being tough, and and those sort of things. But those young ladies, they were tough. They did everything you asked, and they did it to, like, the best of their ability. They did it 100%. And they were bought into everything. Like, there wasn't a back and forth, do this, well, why, and you had to have an explanation. It was like, okay, do this, and they did it, and then they look back and say, did I do that correctly? And so it was actually, it gave me energy. It gave me renewed energy to be around a group that just wanted to do what you asked them to do. So it was a great year for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, cause like to, just to see like just a like a coach wanting to help women and then seeing it like you're exactly right. We don't get the women's like especially women's basketball. We don't get like the that nod or recognition of like say oh we're not tough, but when we're physical, like yes we may play fundamental, but I mean it's teamwork. There's only 5 players playing, so
Yeah. Tough, tough, like, mentally tough, physically tough, So it was eye opening. It really was. And, like, it took my blinders off, my ignorant blinders off. And I was like, oh, okay. All right, cool. Like this is cool. So, um, like again, a lot of stuff that I learned that year, I've carried on to where I'm at now, and just the communication level and making sure that it's very clear and concise when we're talking to each individual person and treating everybody fairly, and but also still holding the standard of this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be the very best that we can possibly be in all things that we do. So,
Yeah, and my question is like, what's it like to, from your perspective, how can more like say men, male athletes as well as maybe coaches, be more tuned into supporting women's basketball and women's sports?
just being open, you know, not not bringing any of your biases to the women's game. You know what I mean? Like I think with anything, you have more respect for something when you have empathy and perspective, right? I have perspective now, so I know what it really is, right? Um, but that takes people actually taking the time and sacrificing some time to go and learn the women's game, either by watching it, by you know coaching it, or by you know go asking the coaches their opinion about different things. I think it's just when we can do that and appreciate the women's game, and I think it's heading in that direction, honestly. And you can see it. You can see the momentum right now is through the roof, and everybody's paying attention to it, um, and the respect factor is 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 just going through the roof. It really is. Um, and whatever it may be, whoever it may be that's helping the process of the game evolving, it's great. Let's use it all, because there's some unbelievable players out there who can really play the game, but who bring a lot more to the table. And the more that people tune in, they're going to see um, not just women out there playing the game, but doing something to help, I mean, the community, to serve young girls, just making a positive impact in our world, in our community. So I think it's on its way. It really is.
Yeah, cause I will say this, like for real, like man, like especially in 2020 when everything was like crazy, like
Yeah,
man, like honestly, everybody started wearing the orange WNBA hoodie right after Kobe passed, and I'm like,
yeah,
why'd y'all wear this when he was here?
yeah, yeah. But it's here now, like it's here, and it's not going anywhere. It's going to continue to evolve, and the energy that it has right now, the game has, is going to make, I feel like, more young ladies in college are going to want to be a part of the WNBA. You know what I mean? And not just like, oh, it's the WNBA. I want to be there, but and whatever. It's like, nah, the brand is high level, and I think they're going to get more and more really talented people and players, and a part of the game from coming from the college level.
For sure. Like, and my question is for you, like, so as a father as well as a coach, like
Hmm.
how important is representation like for you when it comes to like both as a father and coach and like just being able to be like a role model to like the future generations as well as to your players?
Absolutely. I mean, any young person for me, like whether you're my child or not, like I want you to be the best version of yourself, right? That's to me, that's important, you know, beyond just playing basketball or, whatever you're doing, you know, I want you to achieve excellence, you know. And so for me, that's me giving back. You know, I mean, I think I've been blessed to do a lot of things and see a lot of things. And so now I want to give back to my kids and the young ladies that I've coached, the young men that I've coached, or the young women that I've coached, the young men that I've coached, and like give back. And then I want them to do the same. So people that I've coached is like I'm putting some onus on them to like give back. Like it don't have to be 15 people. Just it could be one person, but like you know, there's so many things that you learn that gotten you to this point. Give back to somebody else. You know, whether it's your kids, whether it's a friend, whether it's a young person in your community, and let's keep this rolling. You know, keep this energy rolling of creating excellence in all that we do. So that's the driving force for me, and I'm just blessed and fortunate enough to use the game of basketball to do it, but it's just teaching life lessons.
Oh yeah, cause man, I remember like just and like I know a few of the players would like come to you like I know like they I'm just like they learning from the best, all right, like they they learning.
And they are like they didn't see it because I was in the same boat as them. They didn't see it, but like now they're a lot of them they're married, they got kids, or what I mean, they're older, so now it's like they're starting to see a lot of the journey that they didn't see, and a lot of things that we did talk about. They're starting to put two and two together. It's like, oh, like the game is going to stop at some point. Life is not, right? So how are you making the best of it? How are you still achieving those goals that you set for yourself, or trying to be the best version of yourself, you know that doesn't stop. And so just trying to, I got, working with a new group at American, trying to instill the same thing and give those young men the same wisdom so they can go off in their life and go be the best version of themselves.
For sure. And my question is too like when it comes to mental health, like you
Yeah.
don't hear a lot of men expressing it. But my question for you is how important mental health is to you.
I mean, it's something that's extremely important to me. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't share their experiences. Um, I think, again, that is a big part of my journey, and that's helped me, you know, with my faith, and helped me with my relationships, and helped me, you know, be where I am today. And so now, when I have this connection with, you know, guys wherever I coach, most recently it was Leaky Black, and having that relationship, well, him and I can share stories, and we can share our testimonies, and we can, and it could give him something that, that he can, reach back on and say, man, I'm not the only one going through this, you know. And I really like, I never looked at it as something that I wanted to hide. I'm just like, this is what I'm going through. I don't know if this is good, bad, or whatever it is. It's just how I'm feeling. These are my emotions. This is, being fired didn't feel good. I was, you know, in this space, being cut from a team that didn't feel good. I was in this space, not knowing that there was going to be somebody or someone that needed that encouragement, that need to hear that story. So, you know, we're all going through it. Like, there's nobody going through a different journey than the rest of us in this world, right? We're all gonna go through a process where things are going to be really tough, and we're going to be down, and we're going to need somebody to lean on. Um, and so why not share those stories to have a positive impact, but also share those stories to help yourself heal. You know?
Because I will say, like, I've always believed a man's mental health is very important.
Yeah,
It's near and dear. And June is actually men's mental health awareness.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
feel like it is important for a man to, like, a men's mental health, like, for a man to have, like, a safe space.
yeah, for sure.
Just because, like, they have so much on their shoulder.
Yeah,
And, like, I'm pretty sure you've heard, like, the stigma if, like, a man express his emotions, he's weak. But it's like, if you believe, like, if you think about it, the strongest man alive who sacrificed his life for everybody, Jesus wept. He even said it.
yeah, yeah. No,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. So why would we hold back, right? Um, and so that's, again, that's what it's all about. Like, you can educate, people, and share your story and be open and be vulnerable. Guess what? It allows someone else to do the same thing. And now the stigma is changing, and now we are opening up. We are being more emotional. We are being confident to do that, and not just try to carry the weight of the world on our own, right?
yes, sir. But I will say this. First of all, shout out to your wife because I love the love story y'all have. Like just the what was that? What was that like to have the support from your wife, especially in college while you're balancing, school and basketball.
um, well, it's been what, 19 years now? 19 years married, 21 years together, of having that support and having someone there to encourage you, someone there to talk um, to get you off your butt when you are in those, that space. Um, like, you need that. We're not put on this earth to do this journey alone, right? You need those relationships. Again, I'm blessed enough to have my wife as my best friend, and someone I can confide in and open up to, and have this spiritual relationship with as well. So, you need people like that in your circle, and the more people you have, the more strength that you gain, the more healing happens, and now you're there for each other to support each other, right? So I learned a long time ago that I can't do this by myself. You know, and God made Adam and Eve, right? He didn't just make Adam. So we're put on this earth to go through this journey together. You know, um, as friends, as husband and wife, as parents, and so I appreciate her so much, and couldn't do this without her. To be honest with you, because it's been, the journey doesn't stop. The difficult moments don't stop. When you're done playing basketball, they happen. Um, my 14 years of coaching, and so to have a prayer partner, to have somebody to remind me, like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. You know, we've gone through this before. You just be appreciative, and yeah. It's a difference.
Man, especially like I remember how big your faith was. Like we would talk about like just different things from like scripture and stuff. I'm like, man, I ain't never had met a coach that was so like just like this. I'm like, man,
Mm. I
because
appreciate you.
I ain't gonna lie, because there was time at practice I watched practice and I find myself reading the Bible, just watching practice, reading the Bible. I'm like, I don't. I'm like, well, I'm watching practice, but let me just read my Bible before I catch up. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I've been, my faith has grown a lot since then. Um, and I'm like you now. Again, so I'm learning from you and watching you over there reading your Bible. And now, I read my Bible a lot more, and a lot of things that I've learned in this last year, just in reading the Bible and continue to get better and grow. And, it's so much knowledge in that book that pertains to everything that we go through and we do each and every day. And so, my eyes have been open to that. And so again, so I take that, right, and then I pour that into my family, and I pour that into these young men, and something God put on my heart. And so, like, now let's give that back. So it's like it's really, and I appreciate everything you're saying, and again, I just thank God for it, and for all these moments and journeys, and in the journey and the people that I've come across. But it's really a fluid learning process. As people feel like they're learning from me, you know, I'm learning from them as well. How to be better, and how to be more like Jesus. And you know yeah. So just know, I remember you reading your Bible. I watched you, and look, you never said anything, but I had that. I processed that image in my head, and it's been what, I don't know, about 5, 6 years or something like that, maybe
yeah.
5 years or so. It's been a little minute, right? And that image finally clicked for me. Like, so you never know. You never know when it's gonna happen. You want to leave the person with that piece of information, and whenever they need to use it, whenever they're ready, they'll have it.
Man, you know what's crazy? The way you said, I was like, dang, you never know who's watching you. That whole saying, you never know who's
Yeah,
watching you.
yeah, for sure.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know, but like, well, my question is for you: if there was a verse or a scripture that described your journey, what would it be?
Ooh. Um. hmm. It's the one I have tattooed on my arm. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Whom should I be afraid of? And I just think, you know, like, learning that the Lord is with me. Like, no matter what, we're going through, like, good, bad, like, the Lord's there. And He's my light. He's my salvation. He's my stronghold. You know, and that takes time. That takes some. That's taking some maturity. You know, it's taken me a long time to get to that place, and I know I got some ways to go, but no, that would definitely be the scripture for me.
Oh, Psalm 27:1.
Absolutely.
The only reason why the only reason why I remember it because I was like, one time I said, "Oh, you like Psalm 27? Oh, there's a song that was about it, Everlasting God
Yeah,
by William Murphy." I was like, "You need to
yeah,
listen to that, man."
absolutely. I got that one. I got that one tattooed on my arm. So I had that one a long time ago.
Man.
And you get stuff, and like, I got it. I was like, oh, this is cool. Then you go through life a little bit, and you're like, oh, this is more than cool.
It's like this is real life. Like
No, this is real life. No, I need this.
he's like, he's like, I have Philippians 4:13. I'm like, man. I mean, I wasn't trying to be like cool with it, but I was like, this is real.
Yeah,
Like,
for
I
sure.
mean, I'm like, I mean, if like the thing is, if you think about it, God gives his hardest battles to the strongest soldiers, and
No
only
doubt.
the strong survive through trial tribulations.
Yeah, no
So,
doubt. No doubt.
but my question is for you, what would you say is the competition difference between like the different conferences that you coach?
Um, I would say really now in 2024, it's really just size and athleticism, to be honest with you. And I would say, yeah, size and athleticism, because like for the most part, everybody else has experience. Like, you know, it's just some people are ready to contribute right away, and those are your top players. And some people need maybe another year or two, but I think it's becoming a even playing field. Like, and you saw that in the tournament this year. Like, obviously, UConn was really good and Purdue was really good, but across the board, you had a lot of mid-major, low majors programs winning games that in the past people thought they should never win. And I think the game has changed with the transfer portal and NIL, and it's good. It's good, and it makes it even more exciting.
For sure, because there's so, if you think about it, there's so many misconceptions with both the transfer portal and an NIL.
Yeah.
Like with like some people may do it, some like so it's like you never know why the reason why some people
Mhm.
go through it. So it's like can't just assume.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so everybody has like a journey. So but my question is, and I always ask my guests this. So what makes Coach Jackie Manuel authentic, and what makes your story just stands out?
uh, I just one, I think it's the journey and the story that God has me on, right? And doing His work and for His purpose. So it's nothing that I'm doing or um, trying to do, and it's just doing it in, like you said, an authentic way. Like I'm not trying to, you know, do anything else but be myself and do what God has me on this earth to do. And He's put in my heart from when I was a kid to like serve people, love people, have perspective, have empathy, and I just do it in coaching. I just do it in basketball. Um, and so that's the journey that I'm on, you know. And when it's no longer basketball and it's something else, I'll be on that journey and hopefully impacting other people in whatever arena that's in. But I think it's just being authentic, just being myself every day and being comfortable doing that. I think now at 41, um, I'm more comfortable being me, regardless where I'm at and what I'm doing, than at 21.
You know you darn well you don't look 41. Y'all don't look 41.
I'm trying to keep it that way. I'm trying, working out and eating right, drinking water, all that good stuff. I'm trying. I'm gonna
Man,
do it I'm gonna do it as long as I can.
I always tell folks like, but like, hey, I'm 32. If you're like, what? I'm like, yeah.
You
You know what
32?
though?
Yay.
But like, look, I'm gonna tell you this: when you pray, drink water, and mind the business that pays you, you're gonna
Hey,
feel
good. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that for the next 40 years,
right. Ain't no,
Absolutely.
like God blessed us with the fountain of youth, like
Right.
so. But um, so how can folks like support you? Like whether it's like how they can get ready for the season with American University, like how they can be able to like support you as well as like tune in.
I think just supporting our team, supporting our program at American University. Again, these young guys, they do some amazing things, and they do it, under some tough circumstances of, you know, the academic piece, and our guys are really good students. And with traveling and getting back early in the morning and going to class and then getting ready for practice. So they put their all in their effort into trying to be the best version of themselves. And the more people that can, support us, whether that's, if you can't come to a game, if you're watching a game, if you're, following us on social media, it's just showing our guys love and appreciation for the things that they're doing. Um, one for the game, one for themselves and their family, but also most important for the community. Um, our guys do a great job of being in the community and giving back. And once upon a time, we were all young and you know in middle school and high school and elementary, and so they do a good job of trying to pour into the people in our community. So just to return that favor to them and show that love and appreciation.
Man, I know that's right. As my little fan, like you has speak some realness into the world. So good. So first of all, big shout out to you for coming on the podcast and sharing
No
your
doubt.
story. And
Anytime. Anytime.
and big shout out to all the folks that tuned in. And of course, the live replay will be here, of course, after this show. So, but thank you so much. I just wanted to give you your flowers again. You were definitely one of my favorite definitely my favorite player on that whole team. Like for real. Like I'm a defensive minded person, so just
Yeah,
the
let's go.
defense.
Let's get it.
So, but I just wanted to give you your flowers and
Yeah.
just to learn from you. Shout out to you. So,
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You keep giving me that wisdom and advice so we can learn from each other.
you know what it is. So,
Yeah,
thank you guys for tuning in.
take care.